after 4 o'clock, the podcast, John Kobylt Show on demand. And quite a lineup today. We had a lot of big-name guests. It's the day before the Palisades Fire. We had Roger Bailey on earlier this hour, one of the lead attorneys. He had more bombshells to drop. We talked to Steve Hilton, the Republican candidate for governor. He says he's found $250 billion in fraud over the years under the Newsom administration. And we had Joel Pollack on from the New York Post. Well, actually, the California Post. It's a new publication, January 26th, sister to the New York Post. It's going to cover a lot of the stuff that we cover here. And they got a whole team of reporters. They're going to be doing investigations and exclusives. And it's politics, it's news, it's sports, it's culture of California in that New York Post style. California Post. You want to listen to the whole show. Quite a bit of fascinating stuff today. Well, listen to this before I play the Karen Bass clip. And this just came over from the Los Angeles Times. We played you a clip of Jaime Moore, the LA fire chief, who spewed some gobbledygook at a press conference today about the challenges and limitations of the fire department. Well, the Times is reporting that Jaime Moore admitted today that his department's after-action report on the Palisades fire was watered down. You got that? The LA fire chief says, yeah, this report was watered down to shield top brass from scrutiny. This was the big breakthrough the Times had over the holiday. Moore's admission comes 2 weeks after the Times found the report was edited to downplay the failures of the city and LA Fire Department leaders in preparing for and fighting the January 7th fire. Moore said before the city's Board of Fire Commissioners, it is now clear that multiple drafts were edited to soften language, reduce explicit criticism of department leadership in that final report. This editing occurred prior to my appointment as fire chief, and I can assure you nothing of this sort will ever happen again while I'm fire chief. He did not say who was responsible for the changes to the report. The original offer was Battalion Chief Kenneth Cook, and he would not endorse it because he'd rewritten his report so extensively. Interim Fire Chief Ronnie Villanueva was told by Cook that the version was highly unprofessional and inconsistent with our established standards. Bass's office is claiming that LA Fire Department wrote and edited the report. It had nothing to do with Bass. Somebody continues to cover up and continues to lie. And we'll have more on that tomorrow. I mean, I don't know how the Palisades survivors and the Palisades homeowners can absorb all this. All right, let's try this one out. I haven't heard it. Channel 2 reporter Tom Way interviewed Karen Bass about her reflections and regrets. Let's see what this is.
LA Mayor Karen Bass sits down with CBS LA as we mark 1 year since the deadly Palisades fire disaster. The mayor is projecting optimism.
I feel good that there's over 400 homes that are under construction right now, that there's over 800 homes that have been approved to be built, that Palisades High will open up before the month is over, that hopefully will break ground on the rec center this month, that the temporary
Stop. There's over 7,000 homes that burned. I feel good. You notice how she's not addressing anything of what happened in the past, but carry on.
That the temporary library will be up.
And while Bass praises the progress, she acknowledges the reality of the ongoing emotional impact of what happened here.
Well, let's hear it.
I don't care how far they are in the rebuilding process. They didn't have a home to go to over the holidays. So that sense of loss and that sense of trauma, they never get a break from it, not until they get the keys to move back in.
In the days and weeks
Stop
after
a second. They haven't waived the permit fees. She promised they would be waived. They weren't waived. We had Joel Pollack on before from the California Post. Cost people $30,000 to $40,000. All that should have been waived. She promised to do it at the press conference with Trump. Didn't happen. Big lie. Newsom promised too. Big lie. Continue.
In the days and weeks after the fire decimated the Palisades, Mayor Bass promised to streamline the rebuilding process, and part of that was waiving permit fees, but that's still in limbo.
So it became controversial over how much was this going to cost the city. We predicted 89 million, and now it's a question of maybe it's $250 million. And so that's where the difference lies right now.
Stop it. So if they waive the permit fees, they lose all this money. But they had never counted on this money because nobody knew there was going to be a fire that was going to wipe out almost 7,000 homes. They didn't budget for that. They're not losing anything because they never expected to get permit fees for 7,000 rebuilds. I don't understand this. Apparently the city council doesn't want to give up the money. It's like, well, that would be a loss of, billions of dollars. No, it's not a loss of anything. Nobody knew this was going to happen. That wasn't in the budget. They just want to take all this extra bonus money and blow it on nonsense. What a bunch of scumbags. Play some more.
And hopefully the council and the legal team will resolve it, and I will have a law that I can actually sign.
It's been a
As
year.
the Palisades Fire raged on the night of January 7th, Mayor Bass was on a diplomatic trip to Ghana.
Yeah.
That decision still haunts her. The initial part of the fire, you were accused or that your perception of leadership was not strong because you were out of the country when this happened. I'm curious.
Wait, stop. Boy, you talk about a softening of a question. Your perception of leadership. She had at least 4 days of warnings about deadly fire danger, deadly winds coming. And she went to Ghana anyway. The question is, why the hell did you do that? Play some more.
Perception of leadership was not strong because you were out of the country when this happened. I'm curious, now that it's been a year.
Are you?
What's your response to the critics or even potential opponents of the next election who keep raising this issue that you weren't here when the city needed you the most?
To this day, that's devastating to me. I mean, the way I describe it to people is the way you might feel if you're out of town or out of the country, if somebody that is close to you is injured or becomes ill. It doesn't matter where you were. It doesn't matter why you were there. The point is you weren't there when you were needed.
Stop. The question, Tom Waite, ask her why she left after she got 4 days of warnings about the winds and the fire danger. Ask her if she knew whether the reservoir was empty. Ask her if she knew that the Lockman fire was still smoldering, according to her firefighters. Ask her if she knew that the state reps from the State Parks Department had kicked off the LA firefighters and they didn't put out the smoldering remnants. All right, play some more.
And that, to me, still cuts to the core. Having said that, though, one of the things that I think has been so disappointing is the way some people have really just preyed upon confusion, deliberately putting out misinformation.
Stop. Who? Some people. Who? Name names. What confusion? What misinformation? Who's doing that? I'm not aware of anybody doing that. Who? Why do you veil it in such vague terms? Go ahead. List the names of people who are putting out confusion and misinformation. Give the detailed misinformation. You, your staff, and the LA Fire Department management is covering everything up. You're the one not answering any questions. You're the one who lawyered up with 15 lawyers so you didn't have to explain where $2 billion of homeless money went. She is such a fraud. She is such a colossal failure and fraud. Her and her twin Newsom, the two of them. Play some more.
Bass says she can take the criticism, but she will remain laser focused on rebuilding and restoring what was lost and lifting up Angelenos.
And then the beginning of this year, I'm really excited about all that faces us. I mean, in 6 months, we'll have the world here for the World Cup. And I think that it's time to rally Angelenos again. We had such a tough 2025.
Rally Angelenos.
Bass, if some of these crises that have faced the city over the last year or two even have given her any fatigue, she says no. She is in this to keep fighting.
Because she doesn't care. She'd be exhausted if she cared. All the families that lost their homes, believe me, they're exhausted. the World Cup. All the families that lost their homes, they can't live in the World Cup. They don't give a crap the World Cup's coming here. Most people don't care. Especially the people in the Palisades. Why would they care that the World Cup is coming? What possible relevance is that to anybody's life? What a fool. What a failure. What a fraud. I cannot even believe she exists. But we warned you about her. Not enough people listened. You think any of this would have happened under Rick Caruso? Any of it? Of course not. Look how he protected his shopping center in the Palisades. That would have been all of the Palisades if he was mayor. All right, I'm done.